think the life has started. Hello beautiful people, how are you today? It's another beautiful day in London. Today's day 5 from the Get to Know Me challenge that I've accepted, and again I'd like to say a huge thank you to Stanislava, who gave me this opportunity and challenged me to connect with you and show you who I am and what I do, show you my work, and display the value of it and see whether it's anything that resonates with you. So today is day 5 and it's a very important day. It's not only because it's halfway through, but because we are actually in the middle of the 3-day technique that I'm sharing. The 3-day technique is actually part of a one technique that I use to help people understand who they are, how they're sabotaging themselves, and what's their next step in their life towards their vision and in their dreams. So therefore I say that the day 5 is why day 5 is really important. Not because it's a day 5, but because yesterday what we did, even just as a little recap, yesterday what we did was establish the vision. I shared with you a technique with which we tapped into our intuition and asked for guidance and received a powerful download and insight about who we are, what are our gifts and talents, and what that we'd like to bring to the world, and what we'd love to create. And and your homework in a way was to just hang in that energy, because I've only given a few moments during the live session to really start writing down or start speaking up to a voice recorder what you get and what you're receiving as an insight from your higher self. But the homework is to really do that for like at least 10-15 minutes, so that you can get a more full and rich picture about what you'd love to create in life. And the reason why today is so important is because day 1, as I can say, or day 4, the day 1 of the technique, is to establish the vision. This is hugely important, to establish the vision, otherwise you're without direction in life and you really don't know where to take and which path to go, which is a lot of people face as a problem in their life. They just don't know where to go, what to do and what decisions to make, because they just lack orientation in life, because they don't know where they're going, they don't know where they're headed. This is step number 1. Equally as important is to know your starting point, is to know where you are. No matter how good or bad the situation is at the moment, we need to know where we are. And this sounds very obvious, especially when you translate that into distance traveling. For example, if you are in Rome, in Italy, and you'd like to go in London, it'd be really useful to know first where you're going, so that you know what ticket to buy. But it's also equally important to know that you're in Rome. Otherwise, how do you know where's your starting point? How do you know where you start if you don't know where you are? So yesterday was very much about establishing our vision and where we'd love to be in life, and what gifts and talents we'd like to bring to the world. And today is very much about understanding where we are in life, where we are in our lives, and what's the situation at the moment in our lives. Not just where we are, as in I'm in London and you're somewhere else, but not just conditions, but what are the circumstances, what is just happening in our life, what are our behaviors, what are we doing at the moment in our life, what we're putting our focus and energy into, where we really are in our life. So this is what we're going to do today. Today we're going to use similar technique. I'll take you through a guided meditation just like yesterday, to open up a space where we will invite our intuition and higher self to fill up that space with a powerful download about where we are in life and what we're putting our energy into that is sabotaging us from going forward. How are we sabotaging ourselves? This is what we're gonna look at today. where we are in life and how we're sabotaging ourselves in relation to that vision that we established yesterday. So if you haven't really watched yesterday's video, don't be discouraged, you can still watch that video. But when you do the exercises and the techniques at home, please do them consecutively. Do yesterday, today and tomorrow, because the technique is actually, the exercises that I share with you are part of a one technique, which is called Vision Current Reality Bridge. This is what I like to call it. So yesterday we established the vision, today we're going to look at the current reality, and tomorrow we're going to look at the bridge and what's the next step in life. So if you are going to do those exercises and you're watching the recording rather than the live, please do them consecutively. Don't do them mixed up, because it's just not going to work. You're not going to receive the full benefit of this exercise. So before we begin, just to establish what we're going to do, I'll again take you through a little guided meditation. And we'll open up that space where our intuition higher self is going to inform us about our current reality and about where we are in life. And we're gonna receive the wisdom. We're gonna write it down for a few minutes. We're gonna receive a symbol. Just as yesterday, when you receive a symbol, just make it up. If you get distracted by your thoughts and feelings, or just things come to your mind, just keep bringing yourself back to that space that the meditation created for you, and just keep asking and keep listening. Just keep listening what your intuition is telling you and what visions it's sending you, what symbols, what sensations, and just make it up, write it up, or speak it up, whichever's more convenient. Again, a pen and paper is really handy at this point to prepare, or a voice recorder if speaking comes easier for you and more natural. So whatever really works for you. So just before we begin, I just want to again establish the importance of knowing where you are in your life. Because if you don't know where you are, you will not know a reality check. You will not have an understanding of what reality you're dealing with. Therefore, you will not know, even if you know your vision, you will not know what is going to be your next step. Because if you don't know where you are, you're gonna feel lost, and you're gonna feel confused, and you wouldn't really know where to start with. You just wouldn't really know where to start with. This is why it's equally as important to know your direction as much as your starting point. Just going back to the previous example, in order to have a trip to somewhere, you need to know where you're leaving and where you're going. So otherwise you will not be able to create that trip. It's the same in creating. What am I describing here, and what I'm teaching you is how to use your creative faculties and your higher levels of orientation in life to see things from above, to see things beyond your perceptions and beyond your thoughts and feelings, and how to really get creative in life. And in order to create a journey in life, you need to establish your vision, where you'd love to go, where you'd love to be, but also you need to know where you are in your life and to know what you're dealing with. It is the sense check that you really need to establish the 2 points, where you're coming from and where you're going. Otherwise you will not be able to go absolutely anywhere in life. So this is the creative orientation in life. We need 2 points that establish tension. And in the process, we work with that tension to neutralize the stress that we're creating, the psychological stress, so that we can keep using the tension creatively rather than turn it into a stress situation and harm ourselves potentially. So I suggest that we begin. Prepare your pen and paper handy, or your voice recorder, and just listen to my voice. At the end of the meditation, we will ask the question and you're going to start writing. You're going to receive a symbol and you're going to continue making it up until you feel complete. Preferably for about 15 minutes at least, so that you can get a full picture. Okay, let's begin. If you just close your eyes and sit in a comfortable position. Start deepening your breath. And start noticing where you are. where you are physically, in your room, in your house or outside, and just start noticing a deepening your breath, uncrossed legs and arms to allow the free flow of energy. Continue breathing and observing where you are in your room and in relation to your surroundings. And now imagine that as you're observing where you are in your surroundings all of a sudden turn into a beautiful forest. Imagine that everything starts crippling and that you are just in the most beautiful forest that you have ever seen. And you know that you're imagining this, but it just feels so real that you almost kind of can feel the breeze on your skin. You can really hear the birds. You can really sense the sunshine on your skin. And you can really feel the ground below your feet. Really build a 3D image of that. Sense what it smells of in this beautiful forest. Sense the smell. The smell of pine trees or beautiful flowers. Is it warm? Is it a little bit cold? Just really build your 3D sensory, 5 sensory image of your beautiful garden. And as you're doing that, slowly start walking across and walking along the path in this beautiful forest. And as you're walking along, you can observe and see all these beautiful trees and plants and how everything is just interconnected. And imagine that as you're going along that path, enjoying the beauty of this beautiful forest, you see a clearing with the sunshine. You see a beautiful clearing with the sunshine. And you get drawn by it. You start going towards it. And as you're going towards it, the closer you get, the clearer it becomes that light is not actually sunshine. It's just a beautiful bubble of lightness. It's just a beautiful, incredible, huge bubble of light. It's just a beautiful bubble of light. And you become really curious. What's that bubble for? And as you start wondering what this bubble is for, it becomes really obvious that you need to jump on that bubble because that bubble is going to take you somewhere. So you get into the bubble. You get into the bubble, and that bubble feels really safe and really supported. Even contrary to your expectation, it just feels really comfortable and really supported inside of that energy. It just has the most comforting energy. And as the bubble is taking you, it starts going up and up and up and up. It becomes obvious that it's taking you to space. And you observe from the bubble, you're looking down earth and the beautiful forest, and you're observing how, everything becomes smaller and smaller as you're going further up and up in this beautiful light balloon. And at some point, you know, you're going so high and so up, and your balloon is going so bright and so light, and you just see planet Earth from a very big distance. And you almost kind of see it from outside as an observer rather than a participant in this life on planet Earth. And as you're now high up in space, in this beautiful golden bubble, we invite your intuition and your higher self to really share with you within this bubble, and to really show you whilst you're in this bubble, where are you in your life at the moment in relation to who you are, in relation to your gifts and talents that you'd love to bring to the world. And also, what are the destructive behaviors that you're using to sabotage yourself? Where are you putting your energy? What behaviors have you adopted to sabotage yourself? And what behaviors are no longer serving you? Really hold that space and allow the balloon to really show you. And you see that the balloon is turning your head towards planet Earth. And you almost kind of see it from above. It's just like in front of you as a picture. Everything that you do, you remember everything that you're doing, all your behaviors that you're using to sabotage yourself in life. Now it's becoming clear. I'm going to give you a few minutes to receive your symbol and to start writing and speaking and write a few sentences. And I'll do mine in the meantime. Really observe and go for what's obvious. Don't try to think or rationalize it, just go for what's really obvious and what you're really getting. What you're really getting is what you really need to be getting. Observe what's obvious about how are you sabotaging yourself in your life right now. What do you make important that it's not? I'll stop you right here because this is a live, Facebook Live, and I'll let you continue in your own time, in your own space and time, to continue to write for at least 10-15 minutes until you get a really full picture of all of the behaviors and all the strategies that you do that are stopping you in this moment to create what you'd love and to be where you'd love to be. All these behaviors and all these things that you put your energy into, and all these things that you really make important and focus on, that are not serving you anymore. So continue writing, and pause the video and continue writing until you really feel complete, to build a powerful image, a full picture of all of those behaviors. So this exercise is going to be very grounding, and it's going to really show you and reveal how you're going against yourself in life, and what are all these things that you feel drawn to do, and you feel probably you don't have any other choice or any other option. But if you stick around, I will show you that you actually do. That you actually do have a choice in every single situation. You do have a choice, and you do have the power to change it, and I'll show that to you. Very quickly, just to give us an example of how this works and how specific intuition can get after some time of real practice, because I'm cautious that you're probably very new to intuitive insight and intuition, and it would really help if I share with you what I'm getting, my symbol, and how I'm interpreting it. Yesterday I shared mine, today I will too. I'll be really open, honest and vulnerable with you. So today wasn't really so much of a vision, just like yesterday. It felt to me like it was more like a voice telling me, like an aha moment, a voice telling me, oh, this is what I'm doing. So this is how I'm sabotaging myself at the moment. I expect that everything has to be perfect, that I have to know everything in advance in order to be successful, that I need to have a clear plan for action, I need to know all the details before I start. Otherwise, I feel insecure, I feel like I don't know what I'm doing, and I feel scared to start creating. So, and I feel the need, and I feel the need to give up on my creation because it doesn't look real. It looks like I'm disorientated. And because of that, in my mind, I feel like I shouldn't start until I have all these plans in a detailed understanding of what I need to do at every point in time. You know, the reason why I share this is because everyone's got their own version, their own version of their own self-sabotaging techniques. This is mine. It's because I just announced my business that I've been doing so far, but I haven't really announced it anywhere before. And in my mind, I can see how much tension it brings to me that I don't have a very detailed plan for everything. But you see, intuition doesn't work with a plan. Intuition and intuitive or psychic insight from your higher self doesn't work according to plan. It always tells you what you need to know at a certain moment in time. How much I need to know is exactly how much it will give me. It wouldn't give me any more than that. And also it tells me what's my next step. It doesn't tell me what are my 5 next steps. It tells me what is my next step. And once I take that next step, it tells me the next one. So it wouldn't really give you, your intuition wouldn't really give you a detailed plan or orientation in life. It will inform you of your gifts and talents. It will help you, become more self-aware in where you are in your life, and it will guide you all the way through with the necessary steps. But unless you take that step, you would not know what's after it. This is how intuition works, and this is how life is meant to be. Exciting and magical, right? So this is what I teach. And in my mind, my rational mind, or in my ego, I get really triggered. I get scared and I want to know everything, and I have an urge to understand, and and sometimes I tune in trying to figure it out, and then I take a step back because I recognize it. I recognize that I'm trying to figure things out because I'm scared that I don't know all the details. But guess what? When you work creatively, you will not have all the details. But you will have to work with everything that you've got, because it is enough. Everything that you've got right now is enough to make the next step. This is why it's a next step. You've got all the necessary tools, all the necessary resources to make the next step. this is what the next step is. This is what you can do right here, right now. The next steps afterwards, they're none of our business quite yet. Because once you take the next step, your energies change, your vibrations change, new opportunity arise. You know, you don't know what's going to happen if your next step is to call someone. You don't know what's going to come out of that call. You don't know. If your next step is to start, is to create a website or open up a page, or put yourself out there, or quit your job. You don't know what's going to happen after that. You don't know what's going to happen if you have to go to the shop, as well, because you might meet someone that might give you that little trigger that you need that will propel you going forward. Because the way the higher self works is that it makes connections that aren't normally made in the fields that you're good at, in the fields that you're gifted to be good at. So only your genius will make all these beautiful connections for you that aren't normally made, particularly by the rational mind, definitely not made. And in order to use all these creative faculties, you need to use your intuition so that you can get outside the realm of your thoughts and feelings and to really get an insight from above. From above. So this was, my dear friends, this was this technique. Yesterday we've established our vision. Today we've established where we are and how we're sabotaging ourselves. So if you stick around, tomorrow we're going to look at our next steps and what is our next step that is true for us to take, that leads us to us, realizing our dreams in life. I truly believe that this was useful for you and you took the time to do the exercise at home, because by far, I can guarantee you, this is by far the most powerful technique you'll ever encounter if you really bother to do it. So I strongly encourage you to take the time to really do it. It wouldn't take you long. You've got nothing to lose but everything to gain. I can promise you that. I've been living my life according to these intuitive practices for about 5 years now, and the amount of times where I felt I'm living in a magical world is absolutely countless. Because when you live based on your intuition, going deeper, becoming more and more self-aware in following your intuition, it's the most magical world you can live in. The world really turns into beautiful magic because your rational mind cannot comprehend the amount of synchronicities that you're going to able to experience. You will just be surprised by what you're capable of. I constantly surprise myself by what I'm actually capable of too. So play with it, experience it, and leave your comments below or send me a personal message. I'd love to hear your stories and how you're using all this in your personal life. Have a beautiful day.